Our new book, Ashley Men Will Make You Fat, is available now for pre-order. Check out bourbonbougieshop.com. And now for your next very informative and or wonderful video. I love TikTok because it exposes me to so many different women as far as culture, country, profession. It gives so many different things to learn. So I get excited because I learn something new and I get to show these creators to y'all. And so I have two different women that I want to show. Now, their perspectives and these videos are unrelated, but it is related to where things are going as far as the patriarchy and where society is moving to. So this first woman, I believe her name is Chante or Chante. I'm not exactly sure, but she is from the African continent, and she is giving her perspective of what her aunties were expecting of her and how basically her aunties are upholding the patriarchy and how the women are the ones that are reinforcing the rules. So please watch this video and tell me what you think.
When my husband and I were at our dowry party, he noticed the kitchen was dirty, so he picked up the broom to sweep. Within 3 minutes of him doing that, four aunties, my sister, and everyone around was running over to snatch the broom out of his hand, freaking out, asking him, why is he in the kitchen? Within 30 minutes of that happening, I'm being sat in a room with about 7 women who are apparently my aunties that were at my dowry party. And so began the lecture of how a wife behaves. Number one, I am to open my legs whenever my husband asks. That's part of my wifely duties. I am not allowed to say no, non negotiable. Number two, and most importantly to them, a man never cleans. My husband is not supposed to pick up the broom. My husband is not supposed to change a diaper. My husband is not supposed to cook. That's what I'm here for. Number three, your husband is not your best friend. Your husband is not your friend at all. They noticed that my husband and I kept going in the corner, laughing together and giggling together. And they were like, absolutely not unacceptable. You do not bother him with your womanly gossip. Number four, they noticed that I wasn't giving my husband food, that he had to go into the kitchen to make his own plate. Unacceptable. He has a wife now. He can sit and wait for you to bring him his food. And every time you don't do that, you disrespect him. Number five, they have noticed that I speak to my husband with my regular voice, like I speak to anybody else. Unacceptable. When it comes to speaking to your husband, you have to use a softer tone. You have to bend down a little lower. Needless to say, I did not listen to them because it's Sunday morning. I'm enjoying a cup of coffee that my husband brought to me while he's downstairs making breakfast for all four of our kids, and we've been happily married for 6 years.
Now, we have a therapist. She is giving her perspective of what is happening as us women are opting out. Now, women are opting out globally. So this is not just a phenomenon coming from, black women, white women, feminists, because they were listening to the teaching of Steinem or Betty Friedan or whatever. No, this is a global thing, and you can see it as the men's are lashing out globally. So watch this next therapist. I was just calling what the men's are doing failing and flailing. She has an actual term for it that is coming from a therapist. So please go ahead and watch this creator give her perspective of what is going on.
Because as the patriarchy inevitably crumbles, they're getting a little hot and bothered.
I see the world through the lens of psychology, a therapist, so that's inevitable. And when I see this uptick in patriarchal, systemic, institutional oppression, when I see the misogynistic behaviors of men increasing, I think, oh, yeah, this is an extinction burst, of course. What is an extinction burst, you ask? Let me educate you. An extinction burst is the sudden increase of behavior when a reinforcement or reward for that undesirable behavior has been removed. It's a temporary response pattern when an expected result of an action no longer occurs. Men have been able to behave in a certain way for ages that has benefited them. It's highly rewarded them. And so they expect that to continue. And when we have changed the rules and said that's no longer going to be happening, they engage in an extinction burst. They increase this antagonizing behavior to get us to back down in order to get the result that they expected all along. We can think of this as the kid who has gone to Target with his parents, and every time he goes, he gets a toy that he asks for. But this time the parents say, no, we're not going to get you the toy. And the kid starts to whine, and then he throws himself on the floor and throws a big tantrum and kicks and screams and bites and yells at his parents. And the parents finally go, oh my gosh, never mind. Okay, we'll buy you the toy. Fitting for centuries from the way that patriarchy has set things up for them. And we have changed the rules. And now they're having a big old mantrum, big tantrum, big extinction burst. But unlike toddlers who we can kind of ignore and whose kicks and screams don't really hurt that much, men use other forms of weaponization, including the Supreme Court and legislature and corporate policies, to maintain the status quo and to get that reward and reinforcement that they're used to. But I want to call attention to a key word in the definition of extinction burst, and that word is temporary. Extinction bursts are temporary if we stay committed and we don't back down. The definition of extinction burst goes on to say that when the behavior does not elicit the intended response, if it doesn't work, they will try again and more rapidly until it becomes clear that the action, what they're doing, will not elicit the reward. So as uncomfortable as this all is, we all need to stay committed because it's working. When we see extinction bursts, we don't think, oh no, everything's getting worse. What we have to start thinking is it's getting better, it's working. Extinction bursts end. They just do. It's a measurable, observable phenomenon in human behavior. But they only end if we don't back down and we stay committed. So I encourage all of you to see this uptick in misogynistic behaviors as an extinction burst, as evidence that it is working. It's working.
I know so many women that are like that first creator, Chante, where we are like, this is a partnership. This is a partnership. He should be invested in his family as well. So I know for a fact that if these people, these men, don't get on board with participating in the household, with having emotional intelligence, with understanding what women are expecting, because we are not in survival mode, then they are going to continue to have outbursts or these extinction bursts. And I am so glad that we have social media to where we can put these concepts together and we can have these conversations. And I hope that women continue to have these conversations because it's only temporary. Ladies, we need to hold the line on this. We need to continue to demand with our standards and our boundaries that these men are helping out how they are supposed to, that they are, it's not even helping out, that they are participating in their adult life, in their households, in their families that they help create. It's not helping, it's participating. So you guys, tell me what you think of the videos. Tell me what you think about where we are trending, and then jump in the comments and do what you do. You know, that's how we continue these conversations.